Hey there, story lovers. I'm so excited to share a super cool story with you today. Before we dive in, I've got a fun question for you. Have you ever met someone who thought they could boss you around, but then they got a huge surprise? Think about it for a second. Maybe it was a kid at school who acted all tough, or maybe even a grown-up who thought they knew everything. Drop a comment below and tell me all about it. Oh, and let me know where you're watching from today, maybe from your cozy bedroom or your school library. I'd love to hear. And if you like stories that grab you and don't let go, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on the fun. All right, let's jump into this wild tale. Close your eyes for a moment, okay, maybe keep them open so you can read this. Picture a super quiet neighborhood. You know the kind, right? The houses all look neat and tidy with bright green lawns that look like they got a haircut every day. The mailboxes are shiny, like they're polished with a magic cloth. Flowers bloom in perfect rows and birds chirp happy little songs. It's the kind of place where you'd expect everyone to be super friendly, waving at each other with big smiles. In the middle of this picture-perfect neighborhood lived a lady named Mia Thompson. Now, Mia was new in town. She moved into a cute house with a big backyard, and guess what was in that backyard? A huge, sparkling pool. It was the kind of pool that made you want to cannonball right in. The water was so clear you could see your reflection, and it shimmered like a giant blue gem under the sun. The kids in the neighborhood would ride their bikes past Mia's house, peeking over the fence, dreaming about splashing in that pool someday. To most people, Mia seemed like just another neighbor. She wasn't loud or flashy. She didn't throw big parties or drive a fancy car. She was quiet, always smiling softly when she waved at the kids. She'd say, "Hi there," in a friendly way, and the kids would wave back, giggling. They liked her. She seemed nice, like someone who'd give you an extra cookie if you stopped by. But the grown-ups, oh, some of them were a little different. They'd give Mia what you might call a side-eye. You know that look when someone glances at you like they're trying to figure out if you're up to something sneaky? Yeah, that's the one. Why didn't they trust Mia? Well, it wasn't because she did anything bad. Nope, not at all. It was because Mia liked to keep to herself. She didn't go to every neighborhood barbecue or chat for hours at the mailbox like some folks did. In this neighborhood, people were super nosy. They wanted to know everything about you, what you ate for breakfast, what kind of job you had, even what color socks you wore. If you didn't spill all your secrets, they got suspicious. To them, Mia keeping quiet was like her saying, "I've got something to hide." It was almost like a crime in their eyes. But here's the thing nobody knew, not the kids, not the nosy grown-ups, not even the squirrels scampering around. Mia wasn't just any neighbor. She wasn't just a lady with a cool pool. She had a secret, a big secret. The kind of secret that makes your eyes go wide and your mouth drop open. It wasn't a scary secret, oh no, it was awesome. And it was about to shake up this sleepy little neighborhood in a way no one saw coming. Let's paint the picture a bit more, because this neighborhood wasn't just quiet. It was like a storybook come to life. Every morning, the sun would rise and make everything glow. The houses were all different colors. Some were sunny yellow, some were soft blue, and Mia was a cozy white with red shutters. Her front yard had a little garden with daisies and tulips, nothing too fancy. She'd water them every evening, humming a little tune. The kids riding by on their bikes would shout, "Nice flowers, Mia." And she'd laugh and say, "Thanks, buddies." Across the street lived a boy named Timmy. Timmy was about 10 years old with messy brown hair and a skateboard that was always under his arm. He loved watching Mia because she was different from the other grown-ups. She didn't yell at him to slow down when he zoomed by. One day, he stopped at her fence and peeked at the pool. "Wow," he said, his eyes big as saucers. "That's the coolest pool ever. Do you swim in it all the time?" Mia was pulling a weed from her garden. She looked up and grinned. "Yup, every morning," she said. "Keeps me happy." Timmy tilted his head. You must be really good at swimming." Mia's eyes twinkled like she knew something he didn't. "I've had some practice," she said, then went back to her flowers. Timmy rode off thinking that was a funny answer. Practice? For what? He didn't know it then, but that little chat was a clue, a tiny hint about Mia's big secret. Now, not everyone was as nice as Timmy. There was one lady in the neighborhood who was the opposite of nice. Her name was Karen, and she was the boss of the HOA. What's an HOA? It's like a club that makes rules for the neighborhood, like you can't paint your house purple or leave your bike on the lawn. Karen loved being in charge. She'd walk around with a clipboard pointing at things she didn't like. "Trim that bush," she'd say. "No loud music," she'd snap. Everyone listened to her because they didn't want trouble. Karen had short hair that was always perfect, and she wore bright red lipstick that made her look like she was always frowning. When she first saw Mia's pool, her frown got even bigger. She marched right up to Mia's door one day, her clipboard clutched tight. Knock, knock, knock. Mia opened the door, wiping her hands on a towel. "Hello," Mia said politely. "Can I help you?" Karen didn't even say hi. "That pool of yours," she said, pointing to the backyard. "It's too big, it's against the rules." Mia raised an eyebrow. "I checked the rules before I moved in," she said calmly. "My pool's okay." Karen's face turned pink. She wasn't used to people talking back. "We'll see about that," she huffed, then spun around and stormed off. Mia watched her go, standing in her doorway. She didn't look mad or scared. In fact, if you looked really close, you might have seen a tiny smile on her face, like she knew something Karen didn't, like she was ready for whatever came next. That moment was the start of something big. Karen thought she could push Mia around just like she pushed everyone else. She thought Mia was just a quiet lady who'd do whatever she said, but Karen was wrong, so wrong. Mia's secret was like a spark waiting to light up the whole neighborhood, and when it did, oh, it was going to be amazing. See, Mia wasn't just swimming in that pool for fun. Every morning, when the sky was still pink and the birds were just waking up, she'd dive in. She'd glide through the water, her arms strong, her legs kicking like they were made for it. If anyone had watched her, really watched her, they'd notice something special. She didn't swim like most people. She swam like she was born in the water, like every stroke was perfect. But nobody watched, nobody knew, not yet. The kids kept waving, the grown-ups kept whispering, and Karen kept plotting. The neighborhood went on like always, with its neat lawns and shiny mailboxes. But under it all, something was brewing. Mia's secret was like a treasure chest, locked tight, waiting for the right moment to open. And when it did, it wouldn't just surprise Karen, it would surprise everyone. So what was Mia hiding? Why was her pool so important? And what was going to happen when Karen pushed her too far? Those are questions for the rest of the story, and trust me, you're not gonna want to miss it. This neighborhood was about to learn that sometimes the quietest people have the loudest surprises. Stick with me, okay? We're just getting started, and it's only gonna get better from here. Mia's neighborhood was usually super quiet, like a place where nothing exciting ever happened. Kids rode their bikes, dogs barked at squirrels, and the sun shone on neat little houses. But there was one person who made things feel not so nice. Her name was Karen, and she was the boss of the HOA. What's that? It's like a group that makes rules for the neighborhood, like saying you can't leave your skateboard on the lawn or paint your fence purple. And Karen, oh boy, she loved being in charge. Karen wasn't just bossy, she was like a queen who thought she owned every single blade of grass. She'd walk around with her nose in the air, her shoes clicking on the sidewalk. Her hair was always perfect, short and shiny, and she wore bright red lipstick that made her look like she was frowning all the time. In her hand, a clipboard, always a clipboard. She'd scribble notes and point at things she didn't like. No loud music. She'd snap at kids playing radios. No bright flowers. She'd complain to old Mr. Jenkins, who loved his pink roses. Everyone listened to Karen because they didn't want her to get mad. When Karen got mad, she'd send grumpy letters or call meetings to scold people. Now Mia was new in the neighborhood. She had a cute white house with a big, sparkly pool in the backyard. That pool was her favorite thing. She'd swim in it every morning, gliding through the water like a fish. The kids thought it was awesome, but Karen did not like that pool, not one bit. The first time she saw it, her face turned as red as a ripe tomato. Her eyes got all squinty, and her lips pressed together like she'd just bitten a lemon. One sunny afternoon, Karen marched right up to Mia's front porch. Stomp, 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 her shoes sounded like drums. Mia was inside, sipping lemonade, when she heard a loud knock, knock, knock. She opened the door and there was Karen, clutching her clipboard like it was a shield. "Your pool's too big," Karen barked, pointing a finger toward the backyard. "It's against the rules." Mia didn't even blink. She stood there, calm as could be, wiping her hands on a towel. "Hi, Karen," she said, nice and polite. "I checked the rules before I moved here. My pool's fine." Karen's mouth opened, then closed like a fish out of water. She wasn't used to people talking back. Her face got even redder, if that was possible. "We'll see about that," she hissed, her voice sharp like a bee sting. Then she spun around and stomped off, her clipboard flapping. The neighbors, peeking from their windows, could practically see steam coming out of her ears. Mia watched Karen go, standing in her doorway. She didn't yell or cry or look scared, not one bit. Instead, a tiny smile tugged at her lips. It was the kind of smile that said, "Oh, you just wait." See, Karen thought Mia was just a quiet nobody, someone she could push around like she pushed everyone else. But Karen was so wrong. Mia wasn't scared of her, not even a little. There was something about Mia, something Karen didn't know. And that something was going to make all the difference. Next day, things got worse. Karen started telling everyone Mia's pool was a problem. She'd stop neighbors on the sidewalk and say, "That pool's a danger, it's too big for our neighborhood." She'd wave her clipboard like it was proof. Some people nodded, not because they agreed, but because they didn't want Karen yelling at them. Others just shrugged and went back to watering their garden. But the whispers started. "Who does Mia think she is?" one lady muttered. "Why does she need such a fancy pool?" Said another. Across the street, Timmy, the kid with the messy hair and the skateboard, heard his mom talking about it. "Karen says Mia's breaking the rules," his mom said to a friend. Timmy frowned. He liked Mia. She always waved at him when he zoomed by. Why was Karen so mad about a pool? He decided to find out for himself. That evening, Timmy rode his bike to Mia's fence. He peeked over and saw her swimming. The water sparkled under the setting sun, and Mia moved so smoothly, like she was part of the pool. Timmy watched, his mouth open. "Wow," he whispered. She wasn't just swimming, she was fast, like superhero fast. "Hey Mia," Timmy called, waving. Mia stopped and looked up, water dripping from her hair. "Hey Timmy," she said with a grin, "what's up?" "Why's Karen so mad about your pool?" he asked, leaning on the fence. Mia swam to the edge and rested her arms there. "Some people just like to make a fuss," she said. "Don't worry about it." Timmy nodded, but he was still curious. "You swim really good," he said. Mia's grin got bigger. "Thanks," she said. "I've been doing it a long time." Timmy wanted to ask more, but his mom called him for dinner. He waved and rode off, thinking Mia was pretty cool. He didn't know why Karen was being so mean, but he hoped Mia would be okay. Meanwhile, Karen wasn't done, not even close. The next morning, a letter arrived at Mia's house. It was from the HOA, written in big, angry letters. "Your pool violates rule number 27, it said. "Fix it or else." Mia read the letter and shook her head. She knew there was no rule 27. She'd read every single rule when she bought the house. Karen was making it up. Mia could have gotten mad. She could have marched to Karen's house and argued, but she didn't. She folded the letter, put it in a drawer, and went out to swim. As she dove into the water, she felt strong, like nothing could stop her. Karen's mean words didn't bother her. Why? Because Mia had a plan, not a loud plan with yelling or fighting. A quiet plan, the kind that sneaks up and surprises everyone. Karen kept going, though. She'd glare at Mia's house then. At the end of the day, the point is to be able to swim and swim well. Mia wasn't worried. She swam her laps, her arms slicing through the water, her legs kicking strong. Neighbors walking by could see her, but they didn't really see. They didn't notice how perfect her strokes were, how she barely made a splash. They just saw a lady swimming. Karen didn't notice either. She was too busy thinking she'd won. But every mean word, every letter, every glare was like a pebble in a pile. Karen thought she was building a wall to keep Mia down. She didn't know she was building something else, something that would come crashing down soon. Mia wasn't just a neighbor, she was something more, and Karen was about to find out what. Things in Mia's neighborhood were getting tricky. Karen, the bossy HOA president, wasn't happy about Mia's big, sparkly pool. For weeks, she got meaner and meaner. It was like she woke up every day thinking, how can I make Mia's life harder? And boy, did she try. She sent letters to Mia's house, grumpy ones written in big, bold letters. "Your pool is a danger," they said. "It's too big and it's not safe." Mia would open those letters, read them, and just shake her head. She knew Karen was making stuff up, but she didn't argue, not yet. Every morning, Mia went out to her pool. The water was clear and shiny, like a giant blue mirror. She'd dive in and swim laps back and forth, her arms moving smooth and strong. If you watched her, you'd see something weird. Mia didn't swim like most people. She was fast, like really, really fast. Her legs kicked like they had superpowers, and she barely made a splash. It was almost like she'd been swimming her whole life, like she'd done it a million times before. But nobody paid much attention. The neighbors were too busy listening to Karen's complaints. Karen didn't just send letters. Oh no, she did more. She'd stand by Mia's fence, her arms crossed, glaring like a grumpy cat. Mia would be swimming, slicing through the water, and Karen would just stare. Her face was all scrunched up, like she smelled something bad. Sometimes she'd mutter things like, "That pool's gotta go." Mia could hear her, but she didn't stop swimming. She'd just keep going, her strokes steady and calm. It was like Karen's mean looks bounced right off her. One day, Karen went too far. She stood in the middle of the neighborhood, right by the mailboxes where everyone could hear, and said, "Mia's pool is ruining our community." Her voice was loud, and she waved her clipboard like it was a magic wand. Some neighbors gasped. Others nodded, not because they agreed, but because they didn't want Karen to yell at them next. A few people started whispering. "Maybe she's right," one man said. "That pool is pretty big," a lady added. Soon, the whispers spread like a cold. People who used to smile at Mia stopped saying hi. When she walked to her mailbox, they'd look away or pretend to be busy. Across the street, Timmy, the kid with the messy hair and the skateboard, was confused. He liked Mia. She was nice, not like Karen, who always told him to slow down. Timmy didn't get why everyone was being so mean. One afternoon, he rode his bike to Mia's fence again. He peeked over, his sneakers dangling off the ground. Mia was swimming, her arms cutting through the water like a knife through butter. "Wow, lady," Timmy called, "you're like a fish." Mia stopped and swam to the edge of the pool. Water dripped from her hair and she grinned. "Thanks, Timmy," she said. "I've had some practice." Timmy tilted his head, curious. Practice for what? He asked. Mia's eyes sparkled like she was hiding a secret joke. You'll see, she said, winking. Timmy's mouth opened. What? Tell me now, he begged, bouncing a little. Mia just laughed, a soft, happy sound. Not yet, buddy, but soon. Then she dove back into the water, swimming even faster. Timmy slid off the fence and sat on his bike, thinking hard. What did she mean? Was she practicing for a race or something bigger? He wanted to know so bad. He rode home, his brain buzzing with questions. Mia was cool, he decided. Way cooler than Karen. But Karen, she didn't notice Mia's confidence. She was too busy plotting her next move. Every day she thought of new ways to bug Mia. One morning she stuck a big sign by Mia's house. It said, "Pool problem, meeting tonight," in red marker. The neighbors saw it and started talking even more. Karen's really mad, one said. Maybe Mia should just get rid of the pool, another whispered. Mia saw the sign too. She read it, shook her head, and went back to swimming. That little smile was on her face again, like she wasn't worried at all. At the HOA meeting that night, Karen stood up front, her clipboard in hand. The room was full of neighbors sitting in folding chairs. Timmy's mom was there, and so was old Mr. Jenkins with his rose garden. Karen cleared her throat and started talking. Mia's pool is a big problem, she said, her voice loud and sharp. It's too fancy for our neighborhood. It's dangerous. We need to make her fix it or get rid of it. Some people clapped, others looked at their shoes, not sure what to think. Timmy's mom raised her hand. But Mia's nice, she said, and the kids like her pool. Karen's face got red. Nice doesn't matter, she snapped. Rules are rules. Mr. Jenkins coughed. What rule says her pool's bad? He asked. Karen froze for a second. She flipped through her clipboard, but there was no rule. She made a huffy noise. It's just wrong, she said. We'll vote on it soon. The meeting ended and people went home, still whispering. Mia wasn't there. She didn't even know about it. She was in her pool, swimming under the stars. The water was cool and the night was quiet. Every lap she swam made her feel stronger, like she was getting ready for something big. The next day, a little girl named Sarah walked by Mia's house. Sarah was shy, with pigtails and a pink backpack. She'd heard her parents talking about the pool drama. She stopped at Mia's fence and watched her swim. Mia noticed and waved. Hi there, she called. Sarah waved back, nervous. Why's Karen so mad at you? She asked. Mia climbed out of the pool and sat on the edge, her feet in the water. Some people don't like things that are different, she said, but I love my pool. It's special to me. Sarah nodded. You swim really good, she said quietly. Mia smiled. Thanks. Want to know a secret? Sarah's eyes got big and she nodded fast. Mia leaned closer. This pool helps me do something amazing. You'll find out what soon. Sarah giggled and ran off, excited. Another clue. Mia was dropping hints like breadcrumbs in a fairy tale. The kids were starting to wonder. Timmy told Sarah and Sarah told her friend Jake. Soon all the kids were talking. Mia's got a secret, they'd say, whispering at recess. She's not just a regular lady. But Karen didn't hear the kids. She didn't see Mia's speed or her calm smile. She thought she was winning. She thought her letters and signs and meetings would scare Mia away. She was wrong. Every mean thing she did was like adding wood to a fire. Mia wasn't backing down. She was getting ready to show everyone who she really was. And that was Karen's biggest mistake. It was a bright, sunny morning in Mia's neighborhood. The sky was blue, birds were singing, and everything seemed perfect until Mia looked out her window. Her heart stopped. Her pool, her beautiful, sparkling pool that she loved so much, was a mess. It wasn't filled with clear, shiny water anymore. It was full of gray, lumpy cement, wet, heavy cement that ruined everything. The pool looked like a big, sad puddle of mud. Mia blinked, thinking it couldn't be real, but it was. She ran outside in her flip-flops, her eyes wide. Neighbors were already peeking from their windows, their mouths open. Kids on their bikes stopped and stared. Timmy, the boy with the messy hair, was there too. His jaw dropped so low it almost hit the ground. "No way," he whispered, clutching his skateboard. The whole neighborhood was buzzing like bees around a hive. And then Mia saw her. Karen, the bossy HOA president, stood by Mia's gate, her arms crossed, a big smirk on her face. She looked like she'd just won a giant prize. "Oops," Karen said, her voice all fake sweet. "Guess your pool gone now." Karen's smirk grew wider, like she thought she was the smartest person ever. She expected Mia to cry or yell or maybe stomp her feet. The neighbors thought so too. They leaned closer, waiting to see what Mia would do. Would she scream? Would she run inside and hide? Everyone held their breath. But Mia didn't cry, she didn't yell, she didn't even look mad. Instead, she stared at the cement for a long moment, and then she laughed, a loud, strong laugh that echoed across the yard. It wasn't a nervous laugh or a sad one. It was confident, like she knew something nobody else did. The sound made Karen's smirk fade just a little. Her eyebrows went up and she looked confused. "Karen," Mia said, her voice steady and clear, "you have no idea what you just did." Karen blinked, then scoffed, tossing her head. "What are you gonna do?" she said, her voice sharp. "Call a lawyer? Good luck with that." She laughed, but it sounded fake, like she wasn't so sure anymore. Mia shook her head, her smile growing. "Nope," she said. "I'm not calling anybody. I'm gonna show you who I am." The neighbors gasped. Timmy's eyes got big. Sarah, the shy girl with pigtails, peeked from behind her mom, clutching her pink backpack. What did Mia mean? Everyone leaned closer, their hearts beating fast. Mia turned and walked to her garage, her flip-flops slapping the ground. She didn't rush. She moved like she had all the time in the world. Karen rolled her eyes, thinking Mia was just being silly. Inside the garage, Mia reached up to a shelf and pulled down a dusty old box. It was plain, nothing fancy, but when she carried it out, everyone got quiet. The kids pushed forward, trying to see. Timmy stood on his tiptoes. Mia set the box on the grass and opened it slowly. The neighbors held their breath. What was inside? Toys, papers, junk. Nope, it was something way better. Mia reached in and pulled out a medal, a shiny gold medal that sparkled in the sun. It hung from a bright ribbon, swinging gently. The crowd gasped again, louder this time. Mia held it up high, letting it catch the light. Then she reached in and pulled out another, and another. Gold medals, tons of them. They clinked together, gleaming like treasure. The neighbors started whispering. "What are those?" one lady asked. "Are they real?" said a man. Timmy's mouth fell open again. "Whoa," he shouted. Sarah clapped her hands, bouncing a little. Karen's face changed. Her smirk was gone now. Her eyes got wide and her cheeks turned pale, like she'd seen a ghost. Mia stood tall, holding one medal up for everyone to see. She looked around at the kids, at the neighbors, at Karen. Then she spoke, her voice loud and strong so no one could miss a word. "I'm Mia Thompson," she said. "I'm an Olympic swimming coach. These medals, I won them racing in pools just like the one you ruined, Karen. I swam faster than anybody and brought home gold. And guess what? I don't just swim. I train kids to win too. Kids who work hard and dream big. Kids who deserve better than a bully like you." The neighborhood exploded with noise. Timmy cheered, pumping his fist in the air. Yes, that's awesome, he yelled. Sarah jumped up and down, giggling. The grown-ups started clapping, their whispers turning into cheers. An Olympic coach, one said. Right here, said another. Old Mr. Jenkins, who loved his roses, whistled loud. Even Timmy's mom smiled, nodding like she'd known Mia was special all along. Karen stood frozen, her clipboard